Welcome everybody to Canadian Yorker and live streaming. Today we are going to be going over some important information in regards to some news coming from the basketball world, and just want to bring some this information to you to keep you up to date about what's going on down in the world of basketball. Not only the NBA, which we will be talking about the NBA, of course, but also about other players from other basketball leagues. So it's kind of a it's a generalized basketball video for today as well. As you probably can hear, my voice is not exactly at the best right now because I think I'm going through something. I have a sore throat. So I'm trying to drink water to make sure that my throat is hydrated. So I'm going to do my best to bring you this basketball update. Excuse me. So we're just recapping the NBA Finals. I've included each of the links to the articles that I'm reading to you in the description box, so you guys can read up on it for yourselves. So basically, in this live stream, talking about the NBA Finals, I kind of fell off on following each of the games that was played in the NBA Finals, and I think I stopped at game 3 or 4, I can't remember, but we did have a winner in the NBA Finals, and reading from the NBA.com, according to here, you'd see here that in Game 1, Indiana took the 2-1 series lead over the Oklahoma City Thunder. In the game number 3, but in Game 4, Oklahoma City came back and tied their series up 2-2. In Game 5, Oklahoma City took the 3-2 series lead, and were actually going to, with the Thunder coming back and winning and tying forcing a Game 7, essentially. Oklahoma City lost to the Pacers at home. The series was tied 3-3. Oklahoma City won the game at home on their home court in 103-91, and so the Oklahoma City took over the series and won the series 4-3 in a Game 7 nail biter. So Oklahoma City has officially won their first championship since they first started. Originally, the Oklahoma City Thunder were the Seattle Supersonics, and they were moved from Seattle to Oklahoma City, where they currently are right now. And so it said that they still have that Seattle Supersonic banner hanging in the rafters. So they're adding the Oklahoma City banner right next to the Seattle Supersonics banner. But to be honest with you all, I would love to see the Seattle Supersonics come back to the NBA, because that is very much needed and very much due. And honestly, the Seattle Supersonics were a iconic franchise, and it's so unfortunate that Seattle lost their team. They don't have an NBA team anymore, and that sucks because they had such a great team over there. So as you can see, guys, it was a back-to-back affair in the NBA Finals. The Oklahoma City won their first championship. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won the Finals MVP, and as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander also won the regular season MVP, and that is quite an amazing thing to see. It's not every day you get to see an NBA player win the regular season MVP and the finals MVP and win the championship on top of that. So that is quite amazing. Congrats to the Thunder on their win. So the Pacers, man, I mean, they fought with everything they had. They definitely had the firepower to win the championship, but unfortunately they lost because Tyrese Halliburton went down with injuries, and they just couldn't capitalize on it. So Tyrese Halliburton actually suffered a torn ACL, a torn Achilles injury, so he's going to be out for some time, and that's going to hit the Pacers hard. So we'll have to see what's going to happen with that going forward. So there's a lot that happened in the series, but it was a good series. I'm not gonna lie, because it was a back and forth affair. Both teams played hard, and it wasn't a blowout. There were a couple of games where there were a blowout. Game 2 was a blowout with OKC tying it up 1-1. They beat the Pacers 107-123, and the Pacers also beating the Thunder at home and away. They really surprised a lot of people. So they have a bright future ahead of them, and there's a lot that they can take away from this. So that's all we have to say about that. Let's move on to the next part of the show. So in this live stream, we covered the NBA Finals. The NBA, now this NBA Finals is over, so now we're looking forward to the next season, and there's a lot that's happening currently in the NBA off season that is being discussed, and a lot of it's being revealed. So let's get into this news here. So it says here from the NBC. Now we're just kind of switching gears, and I'm talking about not the NBA, but about FIBA and the women's basketball teams. So some unfortunate news happened. This article is from NBCRightNow.com, and it's talking about the Senegalese women's basketball team, for the team from Senegal, Africa, the continent of Africa, the country of Senegal. Unfortunately, some of the members from the Senegalese basketball team are not allowed to be in the U.S. because they didn't get the U.S. visas, and so a lot of the stuff that's happening politically with the bans going on, countries being banned entering the U.S. is affecting some of the players that are being able to play in the U.S. and it's just unfortunate. Just like I mentioned yesterday in my soccer live stream, as a soccer player who was not able to travel to the U.S. because he had a criminal history, and that stopped him from being able to get a U.S. visa. Obviously, the government has to do what it has to do to protect its citizens. It's got to enforce the laws. Got to do its job, and that's understandable. But at the same time, sometimes it's unfortunate because you have players here that want to play for their teams and compete with their teams and compete for their championships. So in this article here, it says here, members of the Senegal women's national basketball team hustled across the court in central Dakar, dribbling and pivoting as the scuffling noise of their trainers echoed across the empty arena. Originally slated to train in the United States this week, Les Lioness are instead practicing in their home country, an abrupt change of plans highlighting the heightened frustrations for many attempting to enter America under its heightened border controls. Last week, it emerged that the United States had rejected visas for 12 of Senegal's players and staffs, raising eyebrows just days after the West African nation appeared on a list of countries for which America might extend its travel ban. Oh man. So there we have it, guys. I mean, it appeared that last week um, that the United States put Senegal on a travel ban list, and so now people who are from Senegal cannot travel to the U.S. Um, the team captain, Yassine Diop, told reporters at the Dakar practice, said, "I don't think it's a good look for the U.S. right now," conceding, because he said, quote unquote, conceding that the matter was ultimately out of the late Lioness's control. The basketball team's moment in the diplomatic spotlight comes as President Donald Trump's administration cracks down on immigration and U.S. entry, with deportations and visa bans making frequent headlines. Wearing the team's trademark green, the women spent their first morning of practice drilling and honing techniques on Wednesday in Marius Nadai Arena in central Dakar. Trundling horse carts powered the street outside alongside taxis and other vehicles on a warm June morning. It didn't work out. We're here today and we have to deal with it, assistant coach Nadine Fall told reporters. The women was forced to practice for 10 days in the United States with their American head coach Otis Hughley Jr. ahead of the Women's AfroBasket 2025 tournament in Ivory Coast next month. Paul shrugged off the change of plans, telling reporters that the players' success was not contingent on practice location, and pointed to the team's silver medal in the 2023 tournament in Kigali after training in Senegal. The highly successful Lioness have finished first or second in 8 of the last 10 AfroBaskets, which are held every 2 years. Ultimately, team captain Diop added, "The 10-day time frame was short enough that it doesn't matter if we go to the US, so we stay here." Senegal Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko was less measured when he defiantly announced last week that he was canceling the team's participation in the U.S. training in light of the visa ordeal. Baiting the United States with high praise for its arch rival China, he thanked Beijing for its continued support of Senegalese athletes. Sonko dunked Washington and lauds Beijing, the top headline in local newspaper Sud Quotidien read the next day. Sitting outside the stadium, real estate agent Tien Bakar Diop said everyone is talking about it. The United States of America is a partner for Senegal, so I don't see the reason why they are refusing visas, the 45-year-old said, adding that the matter had disgusted him. The U.S. Embassy did not respond when asked by AFP why the visas were rejected, while the State Department said it was unable to comment on individual cases due to confidentiality. Senegal is among 36 nations that the United States is considering adding to a 12-country ban barring entry to its territory, according to an internal administration memo. For Coach Assistant Fall, the visa constraint simply calls for a pivot. There is no reason to worry, he told reporters gathered at the arena. We will prepare here in Senegal and try to win the Holy Grail on Ivory Coast. So this is kind of a pivot from what we're talking about from the NBA Finals. Now we're talking about the Afro Basket League. If you guys remember, in a couple of my videos, I mentioned that there were other basketball leagues out there, and there are other basketball leagues where there are teams competing for championships. And so we have the Eurobasket in Europe, and we have the Afro Basket League in Africa, where all these different African teams and nations compete to get the gold medal or silver medal in the African Basket League. So just like how they have the Olympics, the same thing in the Afro Basket Leagues and the Eurobasket League. So of course, we have these women national teams competing in these leagues. So this basketball is not just played only in the U.S. Not only NBA is the most popular one, but there are other basketball leagues that people can check out in regards to what's going on in other places around the world. You're never going to be without basketball because basketball is everywhere. So it's kind of interesting kind of seeing the effect of how America's bans on countries and travel bans on countries are affecting people in the areas and how people are reacting to it. And so in Senegal, uh, people are not really taking too kindly to the travel ban that the U.S. is doing according to them. So that's just basically what we see from, this is what we are seeing right now. So kind of going forward here, I'm also going to be talking a little bit about uh, the FIBA U19 World Cup. So there are, of course, we have FIBA now, the U19 World Cup, because there's different stages, there's different levels of uh, basketball that's played at for people who are younger. So there, if anyone's interested, there is uh, basketball for 15-year-olds. There's a U15, U16 players for boys, for men and women, boys and girls. And they have U18 and U19 according to these articles out there. So, and you can basically, if anyone can follow FIBA on YouTube, and you'll learn about these tournaments that they have. So there's a player from Purdue center Daniel Jacobson, who plays for Team USA and in the FIBA U19 World Cup. And Daniel Jacobson, he played in a game against Jordan, and he helped the United States win against Jordan in the FIBA U19 World Cup, which I did catch a little bit of yesterday. I caught a little bit of Canada versus I forget the country they played against. It was an African country. They played against Mali, right? Canada played against Mali, and Canada beat Mali in the U19 World Cup. So they're going to be facing the United States, I believe. So I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they're facing the United States. But Mali was giving Canada some problems on the court. But in that game, it was U19, of course. There were a lot of turnovers committed on both sides. Just giving a brief recap of that. But just talking about this, Daniel Jacobson dominated in the USA's win over Jordan in the FIBA U19 World Cup. So it says, this article is from just July 2nd, 2025. It was just written just yesterday. Daniel Jacobson's Purdue center, Daniel Jacobson, had a major impact on both ends of the floor, helping USA to an impressive 140-67 win over Jordan in the FIBA U19 World Cup. Purdue center Daniel Jacobson had his best performance of the 2025 U19 World Cup in Wednesday's round of 16. The 7'4" Boilermaker was dominant on both ends, helping lead the USA to a convincing 140-67 win over Jordan. Jacobson scored 15 points, got 5 rebounds, and blocked 5 shots in Wednesday's win. He also had 2 assists and a log 20 minutes in the game, his highest usage of the tournament. Jacobson closed out the game, converting on 7 of 9 shot attempts from the floor, with both of those misses coming from behind the 3-point line. He also made his only free throw of the game. It was the most productive Jacobson has been since arriving in Switzerland with Team USA. In fact, the Purdue center has had his 2 best performances in the last 2 games the USA has played. Tuesday, Jacobson scored 7 points, collected 9 rebounds, and blocked a shot in the 129-70 win over Cameroon. The United States is a perfect 4-0 in the World Cup play. Through 4 games, Jacobson is averaging 7.5 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 2.0 blocks per game. Jacobson began FIBA World Cup play as the starting center for the United States, but has come off the bench over the last 3 games. He has truly thrived in that role, providing his team with plenty of productive minutes in a reserve role. So there we have it. Daniel Jacobson of the Purdue Boilermakers is helping the United States to a 4-0 win, a 4-0 record in the FIBA U19 World Cup, and maybe we'll have to see if the if the Team USA is definitely going to take this thing by storm and win undefeated in this tournament. So that's going to have to wait and see. You guys can read up on this article for that. So coming back to the NBA now, I'm reading up on some of the news about my Toronto Raptors. This is from yardbreaker.com. This article was written June 2nd, 2025. So it says here, the Toronto Raptors lock in Jacob Poeltl for a 4-year, $104 contract deal. Jacob Poeltl is one of our veterans who's been pretty productive this season. So let's just get into this here. The Toronto Raptors made a bold move by locking in Jacob Poeltl. The veteran big man agreed to a 4-year extension worth $104 million. This deal ensures Poeltl stays under contract through the 2029-2030 season. He will opt into his 2026-27 player option as a part of the agreement. Toronto is clearly signaling its commitment to a long-term rebuild. This extension solidifies Poeltl's role as a central piece of the roster. Poeltl's new deal comes as the Toronto Raptors reset their leadership structure. The franchise recently parted ways with longtime executive Masai Ujiri. Ujiri's departure marks a major shift in Toronto's basketball operations. Despite missing the playoffs, the Raptors remain focused on continuity. Poeltl joins a core featuring Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickly. Toronto is banking on familiarity and internal growth moving forward. Jacob Poeltl's extension signals faith in his role as a foundational big man. The 29-year-old had his best statistical season during the 2024-25 season. He posted averages of 14 points, 9 rebounds, 9.6 rebounds, and 2.8 assists. His efficiency and low post presence helped anchor Toronto's interior. The Raptors refused to trade him during the past rebuild-related rumors. They see his value beyond just what shows up in the box score. Toronto has now locked in several key players for multiple years. Poeltl joins Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, and R.J. Barrett under the long-term deals. Newcomer Brandon Ingram rounds out a core of high-level talent. Still, the front office must balance the spending with actual on-court results. This group hasn't proven it consistently contend in the East. Now the pressure is on to justify the financial commitment. Toronto has missed the postseason in back-to-back disappointing years, yet the team continues to invest in keeping its young core together. Jacob Poeltl provides experience, rim protection, and steady offensive production. The front office believes his presence can help stabilize the lineup. He's not a flashy player, but he brings necessary consistency inside. This contract affirms the Raptors' trust in his long-term contributions. Jacob Poeltl has come full circle since being drafted 9th overall in 2016. He was dealt to the San Antonio in the Kawhi Leonard blockbuster trade. Then he returned to Toronto in 2023 via a mid-season trade package. Since returning, he's earned the trust of teammates and coaches alike, extending him now shows belief in both his play and leadership. Toronto hopes this move lays the groundwork for future playoff runs. The Toronto Raptors may not be title contenders, but they're building stability. Jacob Poeltl's extension reflects a clear direction and broader organizational changes. Toronto seems focused on creating a balanced and durable team identity. They're choosing consistency and chemistry over another dramatic overhaul. Now it's up to players to bring that vision to life on court. The front office has made its bet, and our results will speak the loudest. Poeltl's resigning could also shape how Toronto approaches free agency. With multiple big salaries locked in, cap flexibility becomes limited. That could lead to more eternal development instead of chasing stars. Still, if Jacob Poeltl keeps producing, this contract could prove worthwhile. For now, the Raptors have their center and some clarity heading into 2025. Toronto is staying patient, but expectations will grow with each season. So this is good for the Toronto Raptors, honestly. Just like I like how things are going with this team. I like how they have uh, a structure here, and they have they're pretty serious about actually making sure that they have everything in place to get things done. This is exactly what we need. We need stability. We need consistency. We got our young stars. We got a pretty bright future ahead of us. That's wonderful. That's great. Um, so there's a lot. We still have a long ways to go because we have to be the teams to beat in the East. You know, we got the Bucks, we got the Pacers. Um, there's a lot that we have to focus on. If we're going to compete in the East, we got to focus on the future and how we can continue to improve. So this is good for the Raptors, man. I'm happy to see that. So let's go move on to the next article here. Just talking about the New York Knicks, right? The New York Knicks had a amazing, they had a pretty good regular season. Now the off season was great, pretty good as well. Unfortunately for the Knicks, they could not get to the Eastern Conference Finals because they were taken out by their rivals, the Indiana Pacers. And so the Knicks did pretty well in the playoffs. And unfortunately for them, luckily they didn't suffer any injuries, but the coaching affected them. You know, they parted ways with their coach, Tom Thibodeau. So they're now hiring Mike Brown as the head coach for to be their new head coach. And Mike Brown was recently let go by the Sacramento Kings, and he was coached with the Kings for 3 seasons. So this article here from S what so from New York.TV is talking about the Knicks have hired Mike Brown to be their new head coach. So it says here the Knicks are closing in on hiring Mike Brown as their head coach, reports SYNBA insider Ian Begley. The deal is expected to be finalized soon. Mike Brown garnered support during his first interview with the club, and he was back on Tuesday for a second sit-down, which included owner James Dolan. The 55-year-old will take over for Tom Thibodeau, who was fired after coaching the Knicks to back-to-back 50 win seasons, and leading them to their first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years in the past season. So I was right. The Knicks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Right. Mike Brown began his coaching career as an assistant coach for the Washington Wizards for 3 seasons from 1997 to 1999, before joining Greg Popovich in San Antonio staff from 2000 to 2003, followed by another assistant job with Indiana from 2003 to 2005. So you know that Mike Brown has seen championship success because I know when he was with Greg Popovich in San Antonio definitely won championship. They won a championship in 1999, and I know that the San Antonio Spurs won the championship in 2003. So Mike Brown has definitely achieved, has definitely seen the championship. Okay. His first head coaching job came with the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he guided the young LeBron James for 5 seasons from 2005 to 2010. Mike Brown went to his record was 272, 138 during that time, highlighted by a trip to the NBA Finals in 2007, and where he was swept by the San Antonio Spurs, and back-to-back 60-win seasons from 2008 to 2009, NBA Coach of the Year in 2009-2010. Following the 2009-2010 season, with LeBron James pending free agency in which he left Cleveland for Miami, Mike Brown was fired by Cavs owner Dan Gilbert. After taking a year off, Mike Brown replaced the legendary Phil Jackson as head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers in 2011 but was fired 5 games into his second season with the team after the super team of Kobe Bryant, Dwight Howard, and Steve Nash failed. He then was rehired by the Cavs for the 2013-2014 season, going 33-49 before getting fired by Dan Gilbert again. Coach Brown took a back seat as an assistant coach for 6 seasons under Steve Kerr with the Golden State Warriors, replacing Luke Walton, who left the Lakers' head coaching job. He won 3 NBA titles as part of the Warriors coaching staff, giving him 4 career championships with the Spurs in 2003. The veteran coach was hired by the Kings ahead of the 2022-2023 season and helped turn the franchise around, going 48-34 and making the playoffs for the first time since 2006, helping him become the first unanimous NBA Coach of the Year. Mike Brown went 46-36 with the Kings in 2003-2004, but finished 9th in the West and missed the playoffs. He was relieved of his duties after a disappointing 13-18 start of the 2024-2025 NBA season. Coach Brown owns a career head coaching job record of 454 to 304. That's about .599 winning percentage, and at 50 to 40, that's about .556 winning percentage in the postseason, with 1 conference title and 2 Coach of the Year awards on his resume. So the Knicks pick up a really good selection here. He's definitely going to get them possibly further than they should go. We'll have to see what's going to happen with Mike Brown. He's definitely we've just read his resume, and it's not a bad resume. He's been with the Spurs, won a championship with the Spurs, won a championship with the Golden State Warriors, 3 titles. They three-peated. So they didn't three-peat, but he's won 3 titles. He has 4 NBA championships already on his belt with 2 different franchises. And so, if the Knicks, they need this. They need a coach that knows how to win. So it's just, we have to see what's going to happen with the Knicks going forward. The Knicks have a lot of potential to be a great NBA championship team. The whole team does. They really balled out against the Celtics. They balled out against they did their best to ball out against the Pacers, but the Pacers were just too much for them offensively. So we have to see what's going to happen going forward with that. Moving forward, now we're getting into the Los Angeles Lakers news. So, as we know, the Los Angeles Lakers are making moves in the off season, and one of the things that they're doing is they are looking to shake up the team. A lot has happened with the team. Jeannie Buss sold her team to. They have a new owner. That's the Dodgers baseball owner. It's now the Lakers baseball owner. The Lakers owner. So now, this was just yesterday. So this article is from OregonLive.com. Former Blazers center DeAndre Ayton agrees to deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. So DeAndre Ayton is officially a Los Angeles Laker. It didn't take long for former Portland Trail Blazers center DeAndre Ayton to find a new home. According to multiple reports on Wednesday, DeAndre Ayton has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. Over the weekend, Blazers and Ayton agreed to a buyout the final year of his contract worth $335.5 million. The Blazers will pay $25.5 million of Ayton's contract after he agreed to give up $10 million to become a free agent. Ayton came to the Blazers in 2023 in a deal that sent center Yusuf Nurkic to the Phoenix Suns and others to the Phoenix Suns, where Ayton played for 6 years after they made him the number 1 overall pick in the 2018 NBA draft. The Blazers also acquired forward Toumani Camara in the deal. While Camara blossomed into a defensive force, Ayton failed to become a consistent performer in Whip City. In the 2 seasons, DeAndre Ayton averaged 15.7 points, 10.7 rebounds per game, but inconsistent effort and lack of discipline off the court led Ayton wearing out his welcome with the franchise. Efforts were made to trade Ayton, but the Blazers found no takers, leading to the buyout. The Lakers seemed like a logical destination for Ayton from the start. The Lakers, who last season traded Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, have been in desperate need of a center. DeAndre Ayton will provide the Lakers with rebounding, mid-range shooting, and a lob threat for both Doncic and James to utilize. But what the Lakers need most is rim protection, something DeAndre Ayton can provide when motivated. Maybe returning to a potential contending situation, which he had in Phoenix, will encourage Ayton to mature as a player. DeAndre Ayton became more expendable for the Blazers after they selected 7'1" center Yang Hansen of China during the first round of the last week's NBA draft. With DeAndre Ayton out, 7'2" center Donovan McClingan, last year's number 7th pick, figures to be the starter for the Robert Williams III as the backup, should he remain healthy. Yang will likely slide in as the third center. Duop Reith remains on the roster, but the final year of his contract is not guaranteed. So there we have it, guys. There's some shifting going around the NBA offseason. The Blazers have traded DeAndre Ayton to the Lakers, and the Lakers definitely need a center for sure. DeAndre Ayton is definitely going to give them a defensive anchor that they need, because they have never really had a good center, to be honest. So they're going to get that from DeAndre Ayton going forward. The other piece of news that I'm bringing to you guys, kind of interesting, has been talking the news, of course, LeBron James and what he's doing, what his future is with the Lakers. Now, kind of looking at LeBron James, it says here from ESPN.com, LeBron James picks up $52.6 million option monitoring Lakers moves. So the Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James is exercising his $52.6 million player option for the 2025-26 season. Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul told ESPN on Sunday. LeBron James, the NBA's career scoring leader, wants to compete for a championship next season and potential beyond. Will be closely monitoring the Lakers' moves on whether the team is positioning itself this offseason to field a title contending roster, Paul said. Rich Paul said, quote unquote, LeBron James wants to compete for a championship. He knows that the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values the realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, and outside the Lakers as a critical part of his career. And he says, Rich Paul said, continuing, quote unquote, we understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count. And the Lakers understand that. They are supportive and want what's best for him. Just continue. LeBron James, 40, is entering a record-setting 23rd NBA season and has said he remains uncertain about whether he wants one campaign left or wants to play for multiple years. LeBron James, who has a no-trade clause in his contract, is 50 games away from breaking Robert Parris's record for the most NBA regular season games. Next season, he will break a tie with Vince Carter for the most seasons played in NBA history. It remains to be seen whether LeBron James will reach season number 24 and beyond. LeBron James went out to dinner in New York this past week with his wife Savannah, Miami Heat big man Kevin Love, and his wife Kate, and other confidants, and one of the other dinner guests posted a snippet of the night to Instagram where LeBron James can be heard. Savannah James wants him to retire in the next year or so. As Paul laid out, it remains to be seen how much of his playing future will remain with the Lakers, despite what James has said in the past. In February 2024, after the Warriors inquired about trading James before the Lakers, Luke Paul told Golden State they were not interested. LeBron James expressed his desire to continue playing for the purple and gold. LeBron James said, quote unquote, "I am a Laker and I'm happy, and I've been very happy being a Laker the last 6 years, and hopefully it stays that way." A few months later, Lakers drafted LeBron James' eldest son, Bronny James, the number 55 pick to set up the historic father-son tandem, then signed LeBron to a 2-year, $104 million contract extension in July 2024. LeBron is a 4-time NBA champion, 4-time Finals MVP, and 4-time League MVP, and he has made 21 All-Star teams and 21 All-NBA squads. He is also the first 40-year-old to make an All-NBA team. He joined the Lakers in 2018 and led the franchise in the 2020 NBA title and the 2023 Western Conference Finals. He averaged 24.4 points, 8.2 assists, 7.8 rebounds per game this past season, ending his 20-year streak of averaging just at least 25 points per game. He was one of 3 players to average 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists from December 30th to the end of the season, along with Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. LeBron James returned to on-court basketball activity this week after suffering a sprained MCL to his left knee in Game 5 of the Lakers' first-round exit to the Minnesota Timberwolves. James averaged 25.4 points, 9.0 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 2 steals, 1.8 blocks, and 40 minutes per game against the Timberwolves. Following the loss to Minnesota, he spoke about the disappointment of not having a chance to compete for a 5th title. LeBron said, quote unquote, "Every season that I did not make it to the finals or did not win the championship has been a disappointment. So it'd be the same for me. It'd be the same off-season of disappointment and unfulfillment, having an opportunity to play longer and give yourself an opportunity to play for the Larry and O'Brien trophy. Nothing changes for me." LeBron James was asked about the Lakers' glaring needs at a center after coach J.J. Redick went away from starting his big man Jackson Hayes and finished the Minnesota series with a small ball lineup, refrained from expounding on the subject. LeBron said he should keep his thoughts to himself, referring to the Lakers' trade of Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks on February 1st, just 9 days after Davis told ESPN, "I think we need another big." LeBron said, quote unquote, "No comment. I never say that because my guy AD said what he needed, and he was gone the following week, so I got no comment." The Lakers we're just gonna stop right there with that. In all honesty, LeBron is probably gonna stay in LA. I don't see LeBron moving out of LA anytime soon. I don't see any teams. In fact, it's been reported that no NBA teams are interested in trading for LeBron James. They want LeBron to stay where he is in LA, and that's where he's going to be with the Lakers. Now the Lakers have new management, so I don't think LeBron James is going to be pulling any tricks in LA to try to build the team as according to the way he wants it to be. I don't think that's going to happen, for sure. So, going forward here, I just honestly going to have to see what's going to happen with LeBron James. And I know some of you Laker fans that are out there definitely do not want LeBron James. You want LeBron James gone. LeBron James has to go from the team, obviously. So, let's continue going forward here. So it says here that the Lakers are actually interested in getting Damian Lillard for their team right here. It's pretty interesting. Again, this article is from yesterday, July 2nd, 2025. NBA free agency rumors: Lakers among teams hoping to sign Damian Lillard. The Milwaukee Bucks made the most stunning move of the 2025 free agency window, thus by far signing Miles Turner away from the Eastern Conference champion Indiana Pacers and waiving and stretching the contract of Damian Lillard in order to have the cap space to do so. Damian Lillard is expected to miss most, if not all, of the 2025-26 season with a torn Achilles. However, him being an unrestricted free agent and one that's already being paid $112.6 million over the next 2 years makes him one of the most sought-after players in the league. He'll likely be looking solely at fitting a situation while signing on a close to minimum contract. And one of the teams that has already shown interest is the Los Angeles Lakers. This isn't the first time LA has wanted Lillard, and the opportunity to get him on a minimum deal may be too good a chance to pass up, according to Eric Nem, Sam Ahick, and Joe Vardon of The Athletic. Lillard is about to turn 35 and will be coming off an Achilles tear and was already slowing down on the defensive end when he was never a stalwart at that to begin with. However, this is still Damian Lillard, one of the most gifted offensive threat talents of this generation, and the value of getting him on a minimum is something no team could pass up. However, his fit with the Lakers is almost non-existent. Going on in 2025-2026, the Lakers are led by 3 ball-dominant scorers and decision-makers that do not play consistent defense in Nikola Jokic, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James. Adding Damian Lillard would make it almost impossible to play defensive-minded lineups, as at least 2 of those 4 players would be on the floor at all times once he's healthy. Damian Lillard is going to wait if signing with a team now makes more sense, but waiting until he's fully healthy to make that decision. We'll expect the Lakers to be part of the bidding process if that happens. The free agency signing for the Lakers this summer was wing Jake LaRavia, the former first-round pick of the Memphis Grizzlies in 2022. LaRavia has shown flashes of being an excellent 3-and-D wing, but has been unable to garner consistent minutes in his career so far. At just 23 years old, there is still plenty of room to grow for LaRavia, and the hope that it is that 6'8", 235-pound wing can fill the void left by the departure of Dorian Finney-Smith to the Houston Rockets. One thing that is for sure is that LaRavia is excited to join the purple and gold. The newest Laker took to social media not too long after the news of his signing came out to say how excited he was joining the franchise and was ready to work. So we have Damian Lillard may be a potential, he may be a Laker one day. Probably, maybe by this offseason, he's going to be signing with the Lakers, just with DeAndre Ayton is also there. Of course, LeBron James is going to be there, so the Lakers don't really have much room for cap space because LeBron is taking most of the money. They're paying him $15 million, which is, quite insane. And instead of LeBron James actually taking less money to help the team, he just is taking all the money for himself and leaving just a little bit of money left over for the Lakers to divvy up for the teammates, which is quite crazy. So that's what we have going for the Lakers right now. Another thing I'm gonna read right here is talking about LeBron James again. It's from YahooSports.com, written yesterday. LeBron James, Lakers future gets a shocking update from NBA ESPN insider. So, kind of going in more on LeBron James' future with the Lakers. This article here breaks it down. LeBron James, Lakers future. LeBron is about to enter his 23rd year in the NBA and his 8th year with the Los Angeles Lakers. However, that doesn't mean he's going to end the season with the purple and gold. As a matter of fact, he might not even play for them at all this season. There have been some rumblings about LeBron James' potential desire to leave Southern California if the Lakers don't make significant additions to their roster. That, according to ESPN insider Brian Windhorst, has led the Lakers to reconsider their stance on LeBron James' future with the organization. Brian Windhorst has said, quote, My conversations over the last 2 days have crystallized that the Lakers are essentially viewing LeBron James as a expiring contract, quote unquote. And what happens to expiring contracts in the NBA? They're viewed as trade pieces. So that's what Brian Windhorst has said. Brian Windhorst claimed that the Lakers and LeBron hadn't had any substantial talks about the future and potential contract extension, which is the first time that has happened to James in any of the teams he's been a part of. As such, the writing might be on the wall. Brian Windhorst says, quote, "I'm just unlocking the door because I am not convinced as before of if it's a possibility." Continuing the article, says here, LeBron James has a no-trade clause in his contract, meaning he could essentially handpick his next team even if he's not a free agent. His agent, Rich Paul, claimed that he wants to play for another championship before riding into the sunset. And if the Lakers don't make the moves to get that to that level, this might be the end of LeBron James in Hollywood. There we have it. LeBron James might get traded for the first time in his career from the NBA, from the Los Angeles Lakers to wherever team he goes. But there are only a few teams that would take on LeBron that LeBron James would actually want to go to. LeBron would actually want to go back to Cleveland because let's face it, I don't think I see LeBron James wanting to go and play with another NBA franchise other than the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he started his career. But he's already been back twice. I don't see the Cavaliers wanting LeBron James back after the mess that he put them through, honestly. So that would be quite. The Cavs had a pretty good season. They made it to the semifinals and the playoffs. They didn't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they made it to the semifinals. They were supposed to get to the NBA Finals, and actually face the Oklahoma City Thunder, but the Cavaliers they fell short of that expectation. But I don't see LeBron James I don't see the Cavaliers wanting LeBron James to come back and play because he has like a massive contract that they would have to take on. It may be safe to say that LeBron James might be stuck in LA because no teams want to take him. The Cavaliers may not want him back, so he might have to retire a Los Angeles Laker. Honestly, we'll have to see what's going to happen with that. And of course, the Laker fans have just been waiting for LeBron James to retire. Either they want him to retire, or they want him to be traded, go to another team. Obviously, because they want him to get out of LA. And he's been there for 8 years. That's a long time. I think that's the longest time I've seen him stay in one location. 8 years. That's a long time. I'm pretty sure he's loving California. But we'll have to see what's going to happen with LeBron James going forward in that aspect. So, kind of moving on to the next part, right? We're going to be talking about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was traded to the from the Phoenix Suns, and he's now with the Houston Rockets. This report here from NBA.com talks about the trade. The Phoenix Suns reportedly traded. The Phoenix Suns will trade their star forward Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets, according to multiple reports. It ends week of speculation about where Durant would end up. Many teams were involved at various times, including Miami and Minnesota, but in the end, Phoenix took the Rockets' offer. The blockbuster deal was send guard Jalen Green, forward guard Jalen Brooks, 2025 number 10 pick Armin Mullock, and 5 second-round picks to Phoenix. So the Rockets get Kevin Durant. The Suns get Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, Kaman Muluk, number 10 overall, Jamari Mashik, number 59 overall, 2026 second round picks, 2030 second round picks via Boston, and 2032 second round pick. So the Rockets are pretty much building themselves up for success. I'm sorry, the Suns are building themselves up for success, and the Rockets just have Kevin Durant, who I believe is in his last. He's been around a while now, but his 15th or 14th or 15th season right now. He might not be around for a while. Let's see what's going to happen with Kevin Durant. But the one thing that Kevin Durant does bring to the Rockets is some offense. He can still ball. He definitely still has offensive efficiency, so he can definitely help the Rockets with their offense. And they're still a young team. They have a lot of potential to be a great team, and Kevin Durant's also a veteran too. So let's see what's going to happen with Kevin Durant and the Rockets. Additionally, since we're talking about the trade that the Rockets made for Kevin Durant, there's also additional news that there's going to be a 7-team trade deal. So if I could just pull this up right here, I don't know what's going on. What's going on, man? Let me see. 7-team trade. Rockets. I just had the article for some reason. I don't know what happened here. Oh yes, right here. Here we go. I apologize for that, guys. Sometimes that's annoying. It happens. So I'm going to be posting this link to this in the description box as well. So it says here, Rockets aim for historic 7-team Durant trade amid NBA shakeup. So the Rockets are going to deal a 7-team NBA trade. It's a trade between 7 teams. I want to trade their players. I don't think I've ever seen something like this before. Ever. Now, I've never seen 7 teams trading for different things. Obviously, it's just going to be a pretty interesting situation here. So it says the Houston Rockets are in talks to expand a trade involving Kevin Durant to a historic 7-team deal. Currently, this ambitious maneuver includes the Phoenix Suns and multiple NBA teams such as the Atlanta Hawks, the Brooklyn Nets, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, and Minnesota Timberwolves. While the trade isn't finalized, the focus appears to be on salary adjustments across the teams involved, with Clint Capella moving to the Rockets and Durant likely heading to Houston. Despite the excitement surrounding a 7-team trade, detailed negotiations have most likely familiar names without new developments. By the number, this potential trade could mark the largest in NBA history, surpassing a previous 6-team trade deal from last summer. Only 5 players from last season are currently being discussed: Durant, Dillon Brooks, Jalen Green, Clint Capella, and Daquan Loudon. While the idea of a 7-team trade is intriguing, most of the players involved are already known from prior agreements, indicating limited new information may surface from these discussions. The state of play. The trade has yet to be made official, allowing room for movement and discussions among the involved teams. Current talks focus primarily on previously agreed draft night trades that cannot be finalized until July 6. As negotiations continue, more details may emerge, but it seems unlikely that significant new variables will influence the current structure of the trade. Emphasis remains on executing a complex trade that can help teams consolidate valuable assets. The bottom line, the proposed 7-team trade involving Kevin Durant signifies a milestone in NBA transactions, but fans and analysts should temper expectations, as many elements remain speculative and largely informed by existing trade agreements. So there we have it, guys. The information about the 7-team trade. So it's going to be between the not only the Phoenix Suns, but we have the Houston Rockets, the Phoenix Suns, the Atlanta Hawks, the Brooklyn Nets, the Golden State Warriors, the Lakers, and the Timberwolves are all in a 7-team trade deal. That is quite amazing. I've never seen 7 teams in a big trade situation. This is the largest NBA. This potential trade could be the largest NBA trade deal in NBA history. And last summer, there was a 6-team trade deal that occurred. And so, there's going to be a lot of moving pieces that's going to be going on. So, we have to see what's going to happen with that. And this is going to be kind of complex, to say the least. So, I'm bringing this information to you guys out here, to let you know about what's happening and going down in the basketball world. So now you know about what's going on and happening in the basketball world. Of course, this is not only the NBA, but also in the Afro Basket League, the FIBA U19 World Cup. Of course, we have news about the Knicks and news about the Toronto Raptors. So there's a lot of things that are going on all over the league, and it's quite a lot of things are going on. So again, excuse my voice. Don't have the best voice today. But as you can see, there's a lot happening in the basketball world. So just passing this on to everybody out there, I'll let you know about what's happening. And so I'm gonna have to end this live stream right now. Got to get stuff done this morning, as it is every single day. So hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I'll see you guys in the next live stream that is, talking about the next topic that we're talking about. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click for more updates about what's going on in the sports world. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and have a great 4th of July. This is going to be tomorrow, because today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday. So enjoy 4th of July, 4th of July weekend coming up, and have a great day. See you later.